Hi everyone, it's your girl Simone from Uniquely Me and of course God's Daily Portion. Now guys, there is something that has become very dear to my heart and I wanted to partner with you to make it happen. You've heard the term period poverty and I have been hearing it for a while now, but it's seemingly becoming closer to home. Many of our girls and women are finding it hard to afford sanitary napkins. Not only that, but we have found that there has been a stigma attached to the whole matter of menstruation or period. There's a shame attached to it. And guys, how can we be shameful about something that God has made to be quite natural? I mean, a woman or a girl has absolutely no control over what happens where that's concerned to her body. It's a natural function of the body. However, it still does not negate the fact that it's expensive to afford sanitary napkins. So I have decided to go on a campaign to raise 1,000 packs of sanitary napkins and to donate them to special communities and organizations where girls or women are present and of course are having it hard in terms of being able to afford these necessities or items that are necessary. So I want you to join me on this. Ways in which you can join me. One, on a month end when you go shopping, buy two, two extra packs of sanitary napkins and reach out to me. I'm going to give you my contact details at the end of this video. If you are overseas, maybe you want to pack a barrel with just sanitary napkins. Maybe you are a company that specializes in manufacturing sanitary napkins. I actually prefer to get the actual items. Guys, I'm not interested in the cash. I'm really afraid of money. So I really would prefer to get the actual things. If you want to put them in a box or put them in a gift bag, whatever it is, help me raise 1,000 packs of sanitary napkins so that we can give them out. We want to make our voice heard. We want to put our mark out there supporting a cause. Now, how can you reach me? I am on Instagram at Uniquely Me TV Talk Show, as well as God's Daily Portion, and of course on YouTube, Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. You can reach me via WhatsApp 1-876-856-5769 to let me know how that you are interested in supporting this cause and what it is that you intend to do, and then we'll make the arrangements to pick up those sanitary napkins. Guys, we're going to do this together, right? 1,000 pack, campaigning for 1,000 packs of sanitary napkin to help in raising awareness on period poverty. Thank you so much, guys. Let me tell you, this will go a long way. And we're not looking for the thank yous. What we're looking for is helping someone else in need. Remember, of course, uniquely means uniquely you. I have a daughter, guys. I don't know what tomorrow will bring for her. But of course, we want to put some good works out there in the atmosphere. So help me raise awareness on the matter of period poverty by, of course, contributing 1 pack of pad or more. We want to go 1,000 packs of sanitary napkins for our girls and women. Thank you. This season of Uniquely Me is sponsored by Design Hub for all your printing and publishing needs. Woman's Touch, the healthiest pad in any aisle. Earth Elements, nourishing body, mind, and spirit. All natural, organic skin, hair, and body care supply store. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Guys, let me say thank you for starters, for being here with me week after week, month after month, and we've gone over a year, and guess what? It's season 4. So thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you so much for telling somebody else about Uniquely Me. Well, guys, just before I move on, have you yet subscribed to Uniquely Me? It's about time you did. And if you are already subscribed, thank you. But make sure you're clicking that notification bell just to ensure that you are always abreast of a new episode, which comes, of course, every Saturday evening at 7:30 right here. And guys, just to make it also a little easier, we are on Instagram, Uniquely Me TV Talk Show. So you can make sure you go over there to follow so you're kept abreast of what's going on. So guys, today we are going to be sharing another unique woman's story. This one again gave me sleepless nights, and I'd love to hear from you guys. How do you feel once you've heard these stories of our women, what they have been through? How does it affect you? And what do you think we could do to reach out to some of these women? All right, enough of me talking. I'm going to allow you to go get your cool drink and come back. When you come back, you're going to hear from my guest. We are going to be talking this week about a generation of abuse and how it has affected one woman, yet how she is triumphing and becoming her best self. Stay tuned.
Uniquely me is uniquely you. Balancing the different hats of life, achieving all your goals in the name of Christ. Uniquely me is uniquely you. You can do anything. With the S on your chest, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You are a winner and you're an overcomer. You can be all things to Christ who gives you strength, yeah. You are a fighter, you're so determined. Uniquely me is uniquely you.
Welcome back to Uniquely Me, guys. Thanks for staying tuned. This evening, I have with me a young lady that just looking at her, I'm like, oh, she looks like an earth angel indeed. Her name is Latesha Parkes. Latesha, welcome to Uniquely Me. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here as well.
Awesome. Somebody said when we were getting ready, to come live, we said we sound like each other. And I guess if I catch up my hair, maybe we might look like twins,
Maybe.
All right, so Latesha, you are a phenomenal woman. Just talking with you and stuff, but I want you to share a little with our audience. Who is Latesha? What three things do they not know about you?
Three things that they don't know. I'm an introvert. Many people think I'm out there, but I'm really, as my dad would term it, a private public figure. That's what I am. Three things about me that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at me, you would never tell that I don't always have it all together, but I really don't always have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else that I don't know.
Well, I'm going to just tell your friends that's watching, type in the comment box the things we don't know about her or she doesn't know about herself that you know. Well, Latesha, I think there's something, I'm not sure how many persons know that your mom is a twin, right?
Would leave out that. Yes.
So many people don't know that your mom is a twin. But there's also another story behind that matter of being a twin. And so we're really going to jump right in. Share with us that whole matter of your mom being a twin, what happened to her and her twin, and how that cascaded down to you.
Great. So my mom, who is now deceased, yes, guys, she is a twin. Her twin sister is still alive. They were both raped by their stepdad, and they both gave birth to two daughters. I am one, and there is another. They gave birth at 14 years old. They were living in the country at that time in Clarendon, and then they later on, after getting pregnant, they moved to Waterhouse in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, how that went down to me, uh, at the age of 11, I was sent to live with my dad, of course, by my mom. Up to this moment, I still don't understand the full explanation behind that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was sent there. I was told I had no choice. Therefore, I just went at 11, whatever your parents says goes.
Yeah.
So she put me in a taxi in Yorton. Yorton is in Lindsay for those of you who don't know. And we went to Kellett's. Well, I went to Kellett's.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, that was where I met this man. Now, I didn't know who I was going to. I didn't know how he looks. I didn't know anything about this person except the fact that he was a rapist.
Yeah.
And so when I got to Kellett's now, I heard somebody say, Abby. And then I trying to figure out where the sound coming from. So I
Yeah.
heard it again.
Mm-hmm.
So then I saw the person. I was like, I'm thinking because I don't know who I'm going to, but I'm saying to myself, if this person is calling me Abby and that's my pet name,
Mm-hmm.
then this person must know me. And I'm like, nobody else is calling me, so I guess this is the person. So I went with the person. He said that he's my father.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, at that point, there's still no proof of that, but that's what he said.
Right.
I went with him. He brought me to his mom's house that day. That's where I stayed for a while.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you have to understand about your abusers is that they have a whole show that they put on leading up to wherever they really want to get the thing.
Yeah.
So I was there staying, and then he came by one day. Well, before he came by,
Mm-hmm.
I followed my cousin who was living at the house. I followed her to her dad,
Mm-hmm.
and her dad was living at the same place where my dad was living.
Okay.
When I went there, out of respect, even though I followed her to her dad, I went to call my dad because he was there.
Right.
When I went into the room, he said to me, I should lay on top of him. Now I'm like, this was me.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting a little bit offensive. So I laid down. I'm like, what is this all about? In my head, knowing what I know about this person is like, that definitely was a red flag.
So you did know that he was that he had raped your mom and your aunt prior to
Yes, I
going.
did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
And after I laid down, he said to me, so when you come down here, you must stay with me. So I said, no.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is, it's a no. I really didn't know that when I went there, I was supposed to stay with him. Because he didn't know that I was going there. So, like, asking me that question, I thought, but
Yeah.
I'm 11, I'm being obedient. I told him no, which was the truth. So I left.
Right.
Some other time, he came to his mother's house and I'd cleaned the floor.
Yeah.
But my cousin didn't see when I did it. So she cleaned it over. It was red floor. So, so by the time he cleans and somebody else walk on it, it already has the white mark. So then she cleaned it over. It was a Sunday.
Right.
And he walked into the house at the same point and he started going all out, like expletives on top of expletives on top of expletives. And he was just going and he was just going. And then he told me to pack up my stuff and go.
Uh-huh.
So I'm packing up my stuff now because he told me to come with him. But all of that was, I think, it was leading up to where he wanted it to go because that was nothing for you to create a big thing over.
Right.
I mean, if I clean it and somebody else clean it, it's not that bad. Anyhow, he moved me down to his brother and his brother and his common law wife, and I was there. And a few months into it, I don't know what he and the wife had, and they had an argument. And then he said I had to leave. So he packed me up, carried me to his hut.
You said
And
it's hot. It's hot.
Yes, it's hot.
Uh-huh.
So I went there with him, and that's where we lived in the hut. And that's when he actually made his first attempt. Now, I remember the night vividly in my mind. I'm on the edge of the bed. He's to the corner because there's a bed in the hut. That's where he lives.
Right.
And he is coming over on me.
Right.
He's touching me. I'm uncomfortable. And so I am pulling off the bed.
Right.
So I'm 11 years old. I've never had a boyfriend. I've never had anybody touch me in a certain way.
Right.
And so it felt extremely uncomfortable, especially the fact that you are my dad,
Right.
you know? And I kept pulling off. So when I pulled off the bed and actually came off and stood up,
Yeah.
he got really loud on me and he said, I'm supposed to come back and lay down.
Right.
Now I went back and I laid down.
Yeah.
After a while, he started the same thing.
Yeah.
That was when he made his first attempt. And what he did at that time was to just use his penis to rub between my legs.
Yeah.
And that's where he actually started.
When that happened, that first incident of him doing that, when you got up the next morning, what went through your mind? Did you feel like running away? Did you feel like telling somebody? Was there anybody to tell? Did you ask him what was that he's doing? What went through your mind?
To be honest with you, I don't remember asking him why he did what he did. He was really abusive. Like before the whole thing, he has this thing, you know, like when he is upset, he's extremely upset.
Yeah.
And me thinking about the fact that this person, this is what I know this person for, then at this point I'm thinking it is in him. I don't remember if I felt like running away. I definitely knew that I couldn't tell anybody because my life was on the line, because he had threatened me from there.
Yeah.
The point at which
when you say threaten, what is it that he said to you? What was his threat about?
Like if I tell anybody he's gonna kill me. I remember one day he backed me up in the hut and had the cutlass at my neck. Like in that moment I taste my own blood because I'm like, you know, I'm that.
Right.
That's what it really was in that moment.
And at this point, this is him. This is a point now where he's no longer just rubbing himself against it, but he's now doing the actual thing.
Right.
Right. Somehow you got this became public. How did it become public?
All right. So it took a long while before it became public. To be honest with you, it took a year. And people tend to ask me, why did you take so long? But it's when you're in a situation, you don't understand what it's really like until you've experienced it for yourself. Because when you're in there, when you're outside, you know, it's easy to say, oh, just kill him on 99 sleep, or oh, just get up and run away.
Yeah.
It's easy to say that looking from the outside in, but when you're in it, it's much harder to do.
Yeah.
So we moved from the hut, we go to a structure, and I tend to call it a structure a lot because it had no roof, no window, you know, rainfall, you wet up the whole works until we moved to a chicken coop. So at this point, where chickens on one side, we're living on the other side. Wow. And the moment when I reported it was when there was a morning that I got up and I was getting ready for school.
Yeah.
There was a morning that I got up and I was getting ready for school, and my phone was in the living room because where we're living in the chicken coop, his mom was also living there. We went back to that place.
Yeah.
But I guess because of what happened the last time, he didn't want to go into the house.
Right.
So my phone was in the living room. I was in the bathroom bathing. It's an outside bath. Yeah. So I'm outside bathing. Yeah. Therefore, we're able to differentiate where the phone is and where I am.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who troubled the phone, but yeah, when you call 123, I don't remember exactly what the lady says when she come on, but that was playing. And then he called out to me and he said, why are you on the phone when you're supposed to be getting ready for school? And I said, I'm not on the phone, I'm in the bathroom. Now, if I'm speaking back to you, you're actually hearing where the sound is coming from. And because the bathroom is outside, you know that I'm in the bathroom.
Right.
Lo and behold, I came out the bathroom and he split a piece of bamboo in two and he peed.
Yeah.
When I look at my skin, I had the little things from the bamboo in it. And it was at that moment, like I felt like that was my final straw. Like I had nothing more left. And because my guidance counselor, we had a close relationship. She had brought me to Sissoko before. because
Right.
somebody told her that they suspected that something like that was happening.
Right.
Um, I also found out that my aunt, which is my mom's twin sister,
Yeah.
had called the school to ask them to check on such a case because of what she knows he's like.
Right.
So I went to my guidance counselor and I told her the morning before devotion, I have something to tell.
Right.
And after devotion finished, I told her. But I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying, news spread like wildfire. I think that's what happened at school because by the time I told her, and she's going back to bring me to Sissoko now. She's
Right.
coming through the front of the school and everything is on hold.
Yeah.
Everybody's staring at me.
Yeah.
And then you have some little whispers going on. And then she had to turn back. It was like the entire school knew already.
Wow. Is it
So she
that
had to turn
your
back.
trust was betrayed by this guidance counselor? Because if you only told her, how is it that it got to the school population by the time you told her and it's time to leave the school?
To be honest with you, I don't even know. Because up to this day, it puzzles me because I'm like, I told her I'm sitting in the room with her. So I saw that she's still there.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it was any of the other persons that, because the nurses' quarter is in the same space
Oh.
that the
Oh.
guidance counselor quarter is in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know.
I do have a question though. Your mom, because if your aunt took the time to call the school about that, why didn't she well, not even why did your mom ever come back to check on you, having sent you to live with him? Did she ever come back to check on you to see what was happening?
You know, when I got to Kelly and the man brought me to his mom,
Yeah.
he was speaking to his mom and his phone rang. When he
Mm-hmm.
looked at it, it was a private number and he said to me, I am mother answer. Exactly like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
took the phone and I said hello and the phone went. And that was the
Wow.
last conversation we had. Well, she didn't respond, so it wasn't even a conversation, but it was the last communication we had
Yeah.
prior to reporting the incident. I'm going to be honest with you, there were times when her husband called me. I had a cell phone,
Right.
which I was not allowed to use on my
Yeah.
own terms.
Right.
I had a cell phone, and her husband would call and he would, try to hint if there's anything like that going on. But this man is sitting beside me, so I can't speak because, of course, my life is on the line and I'm in his presence because he's
Right.
there. And then whenever somebody calls me. So her husband does, she tried to reach out to me during the time. But apart from the time when I reached and she hung up the phone, I
Yeah.
figured she just, the fact that I answered the phone, she
Right.
knew that, okay, all right, she reached, she's
Right.
okay. And that was it until the
Mm-hmm.
case, the thing came out. Um, before that, hold up, before that,
Mm-hmm.
yes, her husband had called one day and
Mm-hmm.
she had asked about my report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I told her what was the results, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah. So when it was reported to Sissoko, obviously Sissoko is going to move you from the home of the abuser. Um, I need to know two things. What happened to him? That's your father. Having it reported to Sissoko, and did your mom reach out at this point?
All right, so they called her. I think she told them to call my aunt, which is not the twin sister, somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I knew my grandma number as well, so I had them call my grandma. Nobody came for me that night. Nobody showed
Wow.
up, and I had to sleep at the station. Nobody came for me. Nobody called to check up on me or anything. The police actually had to call back in the morning,
Yeah.
and she was
Mm.
extremely serious, and that was when somebody actually came for me. He also slept at the station the night because he had I think she was his cousin or a niece or somebody like that, who
Right.
was a police.
Oh.
And it was she that they had sent in the community to get him because she lives close by. She's a
Uh-huh.
police, but she didn't know of the situation. I don't know if
Wow.
it had been if I had told her if it would have been a different situation, she would have got him then and there. But it was her who assisted them in
Yeah.
getting him. So they went for him on the farm, everything there with his water boot. We stayed there the night. So I was there, he was there.
What has Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
What has happened to him now?
He's actually in prison right now. I tried to find him on many occasions.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't succeeded as it. So I don't know exactly where he is. But I know when I know that the case was tried in Maypen,
Mm-hmm.
and that was where he got his sentence.
And that's as a result of your abuse. That's why he's in prison.
Yes, because I reported mine. I also told them about my mom and her sister. The sister didn't show up to court. You know, she was extremely fearful because she's saying that she lives within the same area. Well, not in the same community.
Right.
She lives in Clarendon, but
Mm-hmm.
not in the same community. So she was fearful for her life. And I guess she was thinking about the fact that, okay, I have nowhere to go because I'm married and this is where I live with my husband and my children. Because
Right.
she had more children and she was married and the whole works.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just me and my mom that showed up to court. It was a bit hectic with my mom as well, but she was there, I guess, because she had no other choice.
Okay. So that chapter of your life ended, and you would have now been kind of homeless, because if nobody showed up for you, you couldn't go back there. Where, what happened next? Where did you go? Were you placed in a home of safety?
All right. So before I was homeless and the whole work, I so when they called back the morning, my aunt came for me, and I
Mm-hmm.
went to stay with my grandma. And my grandma had sent me back to the same school because she was like, you know, it's a 7-day news. Um, People gonna forget it and the whole works. But that was not the case when I showed up. And so I moved to live with my mom in Linstead, and I went to a different school.
Oh, so you went with your mom. Okay, great.
After all, I went to live with her.
Mm-hmm.
She was extremely abusive. It was not the best of anything that I would have imagined.
Yeah,
The mother-daughter relationship was not there. Everything was just failing.
yeah.
Um, I remember one day coming from school and I had stopped to get the key from her and I said, Mommy, and it was at her workplace. She was extremely mad. And
Mm-hmm.
she did beat me when she got home. There were
Really?
other occasions, yeah, she beat me. You know, funny enough, she had asked me to call her mommy at some point after that in life. And it was so difficult for me. It was like, I wonder, should I really say mommy or should I say her name?
Yeah,
And then every time I want to say mommy, I'm like indecisive. So sometimes I try to leave out the mommy part and to start the same thing.
yeah,
And I try to avoid things that will actually cause me to have to say mommy.
yeah.
So because
Did
I
you
was really
ever
scared.
think? Sorry, did you ever think it was because she herself struggled with the fact that she was raped by this person? She didn't have a choice in what was done, and so you were the product of her abuse. Do you think that ever happened? That was ever crossing her mind? I don't know. I'm just asking, because what would make a mother, especially knowing now that the same abuser, your own dad, is now her stepdad abused her, you came, and then the same person turn around and abusing you. You'd have thought you'd have been a little more protective.
That's what I thought as well. And yes, I actually thought to say, okay, maybe because she has been through it, she that's why she kind of pushed me off. But then I'm also thinking, okay, this was me when I was younger. She's not the only person that has got raped. So okay, she needs to just accept it and move on. I'm also thinking, I don't look anything like this man. I look exactly like my mom. Like this is my mom sitting in front of you. I am my mother's child in live and living color. And
Yeah.
I'm like, every time you look at me, you are not supposed to remember this man. You're supposed to remember me because I look like you. So why do you hate me this much? So I think in myself, I'm saying, she could have really find a bit of love from me. Something, because I'm thinking you're not the only person who got raped. And at least love me. Give me something you didn't have. Protect me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's no here. She's not here anymore. And so, did you ever get a chance to ask her, why, especially when you got older, why the abuse? Why does she hate you so much, for want of a better word?
Never get a chance to. After she died, everybody would have said to me that no, she don't hate you and stuff like that. But I never get a chance to. And when she died, I felt more than ever that she hated me because of a series of events that were unfolding.
All right. So coming back now, Latisha, to life has moved on now. You finished school, correct? Having moved to different schools, you're finished with school. But somehow you're working, but somehow you found love that should have kind of changed everything. What was that like?
I found love. Wow. Well, at the point, I would have said that I found. No, I don't know what I would say about.
Yeah.
But I started talking to my son's dad.
Mm-hmm.
He was sweet at first, to be honest with you. He made you feel like, okay, this is love. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I never experienced love. This is really love. Okay, this feels good. Somebody cares for me, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier, the people who want to abuse you, they do certain things to pull you in, because they have to get you comfortable. Because in a place of comfort is where they can get you to do exactly what they want you to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not comfortable with this person. At first I didn't know that he belonged to somebody else. So in Jamaican terms, we take a girl man,
Yes.
I remember being in a car with him one day. I was at the house where he claimed he lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept seeing stuff that belonged to females. When I would have inquired of it, he would say, it's my sister. She come here from time to time. It's hers and the whole works and the whole works.
Uh-huh.
Now one day after showing up, him and I,
Yeah.
there was this lady there, and it's upstairs.
Yeah.
So she's up there and she's going on and she's throwing his things out, sitting in the car. Now at this point, I dropped my seat back because I'm like, I'm in a place I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Nobody come kill me and stuff like that. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Because my mom was still alive at this point. She don't know anything about it. My stepdad don't know. This is just this going on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, after that whole thing, he lived in the car.
Yeah.
I was living in Waterhouse at the point.
Right.
A bed and somewhere to stay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm running down love. I'm seeking something that I never had.
Right.
So I pack up my little 2 bags. Not everything, because I still had clothes there. I probably still have clothes there up to this day if they hadn't thrown them out. I pack up my 2 little piece of clothes them, and I went to live in the car with him.
You went to live in the car?
Yes. I'm telling you, he worked in New Kingston at the time, at the business center, and I would be there days and days and days in the car. Sometimes the sun gets so hot, I just crack the door a little bit because I don't want to wind on the window and then people see me. And then, it's New Kingston. People are there practically for the entire day, parking right at Sutherland there. They must pass and be like, if they see me, they would be like, why this girl in the car all day? And the sun hot. Sometimes I feel like I can't breathe, but I'm still in there. In the night, would find somewhere to park the car and sleep. Sometimes we'd come back to Spanish Town. There's a standpipe over by. It's close to Joe. is that Joblin? No, that's Toys Pen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's close to Toys Pen, and across from Toys Pen where you have the houses. I don't know what they call them, but there are some houses that go on top of each other.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows them right out there. But on the other side, so his mom lived around that area, but there was a standpipe close by. So we'd go there to bathe and get back to Kingston in time in the morning for him to have work. And we'd change in the car.
Uh-huh.
Some days are not bathing days because some days we don't have time to make it
Wow.
to
So
Spanish
you
Town
didn't
to
have a
use the
job,
sun.
Latisha, at that time?
So I had a job before.
Uh-huh.
And then he asked me to leave my job because the first fight we had was because of the job.
Uh-huh.
So I was doing acting at that time, full time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a play that we had at the time, and I got a call. We were in Spanish Town to be exact.
Right.
And I got a call, and he got upset. No, my manager was Paulo Bill, so it's a male.
Mm-hmm.
He got upset. Man calling me at night and this and that. I think it was a little bit after 9, but it was something about rehearsal the following day.
Yeah.
And he gave me a fine beating right there.
Beating?
Across from Toys Pen, same. Yes, beating like I'm his child, you know. Good beating. And I walk go up on Wellington Street.
Mm-hmm.
And he follow me and still a going with himself. And even when I stop, him stop, hit me again. At that point, I started crying, but there was a vehicle that came around the corner at the time.
Yeah.
And the man stopped and he identified himself. He was a police and the whole works, but he had on plain clothes. He said he was off duty and everything, but he had an ID.
Right.
And I think he was going Kingston side or something. And I said, oh, he asked the gentleman to stop doing what he was doing, and crowd was there and everything, so say a big something, well, you probably don't know how Spanish Town people stay, but them love the excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell the gentleman to let me off at water hose. So that is right out the front, him let me off. I guess he was going to work.
Right.
And he let me off and I stood there. I didn't want to go around to the house, to be honest with you, because I just left one day and I've been living in this car with this man. Nobody don't know my whereabouts. Me showing up at that point, I think it got to about after 11.
Mm-hmm.
Me showing up, I'm like, okay, then I'm going to turn back. So I'm standing at the roadside and I call this guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that I called was somebody that I had started speaking to before I started speaking to my child's father.
Right.
But one day, he raised his hand after me. And I just left.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had done that with my child's dad as well. Because I'm like, why did I do that to that person? He just raised his hand, but this person literally beat me. And I'm there.
Yeah.
And the person came and he picked me up. He lived in Linstead.
Yeah.
And he brought me to Linstead. And that night I sat on the bed and he cried and he explained and he apologized. But in my head, I'm like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
I just want somewhere for sleep tonight. So I'm just. So I literally got up the morning and I went back to where my child was.
Yeah.
Stupid me. Yammed me just going on there.
They say Yammed you just return right back to where.
Yeah, that's the saying now, Yammed.
Yeah.
That was just me. I was just the president of the Yam Nation, just heading back.
It could be. Would you say you were in love? Because I'm finding this. I'm happy that we're having this conversation because our young people need to know and to hear these stories. Is it that you're in love? What would you say it was? Were you in love? Because for a fact, it's not that you don't know right from wrong, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that you didn't see the right flags. It's not that you never realized you live in a car. But was it that your heart was in it?
guess I would say yes. I mean, there could be anything else. So I guess my heart was in it.
Yeah.
For me to get up out of my bed to live with somebody in a car, I mean, my heart would have been in. And it felt stable, to be honest.
Yeah.
It felt stable. So I'm like, okay, this is what it is right now, but it's gonna get better. People talk with their mouths all the time, but I've come to realize that who people show you that they are, that's really who they are. Because what they say with their mouth is who they want to become.
Right.
It's what they want to do, is not actually what they're doing or what they want to do. A lot of times. Because people will talk, but the person they're talking about is a person who they admire, the person who they want to become. And that was the case with him. Because all of what he would have explained and everything is a totally different scenario. And let me tell you something that should have even raised a red flag for me as well.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He told me about a child. As at some point, that would have been a conversation we would have had.
Right.
He told me about a child, but he said that he don't think the child was his because of the young lady was being promiscuous and the whole work and the whole.
Yeah.
That should have raised a red flag, because I remember even when I said to him, just do a DNA and see if it's your child.
Right.
Or this person own their own business. So, I mean, doing a DNA is not that bad. Yeah, owning your own business don't mean you have money, but the person could do a DNA.
Right. Right.
So I said, just do a DNA and see if it's your child. And he was a bit hesitant. That should have raised a red flag for me. And as you said, as you rightly said, it's good that we're having this conversation now, because a lot of our young people will meet men who already had children or deny their children or whatever the case may be, and they think that the person is gonna do something totally different with them. But if the person can do that to somebody else and deny a little child, who to tell if he's not gonna deny your child as well?
Right.
Or is
Right.
that, oh, we're in love?
Yeah.
And I was in love.
Yeah. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You are watching Uniquely Me. And of course, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking with Latesha Parkes. She's sharing her story of being the product of a rape for her mom, and her dad, who raped her mom, also raped her. And as if that wasn't enough, life seemed to have taken a turn, seemingly for the worse as she got older. So when the last we covered was her move to find love, but love came with many different colors. And so we are about to dive into, did she find the true color of love in this case? So Latisha, you stayed and you found out you were pregnant.
Yeah.
I would want to think at this point, being pregnant, were you now living somewhere, or were you still in the car?
I was still in the car. So I didn't have morning sickness or anything. So it was not like, oh, you're pregnant and that's it. No. I was in the car and I don't know. There was this conviction. I guess they say a mother always knows. I wasn't a mother at that time, but it was like there was just something inside of me that kept saying, you're pregnant. Because even when I said it to him, he didn't believe.
Right.
And I constantly said it. Until one day we're in Spanish Town and, I did a test and he realized, but yes, I was in the car. We later moved on Constant Spring Road.
Yeah.
That's where we lived after.
Yeah. I think you had mentioned, was that where he had hit you down the stairs or something to that effect?
Yes. So he would still beat me there sometimes, because we had a landlady. Sometimes she would be the one, in the middle trying to calm him down, and the whole point of that there was also a point when he kicked me down the stairs. I was pregnant, and that was a whole other case. I think I was outside and I decided that I wasn't even coming back at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then there's this night that he left you on the street and somebody appeared behaving as if they were pretending to be the police. Would you like to share that with us?
So yes, at that point we were living at the house that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we were coming from Spanish Town. Because as I told you, his mom lives in Spanish Town, so we went there quite often.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we were coming from. And there is a gas station on Dunrobin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where he had put me out of the car. It was a big fight that night. He hit me same place on the roadside I was 6 months pregnant in.
Yeah.
And I was there. There was nobody there. It was a little bit after midnight.
Yeah.
I had a phone. So of course I looked at the phone and I knew what was happening.
Right.
My first instinct was to call the police. So I called 119.
Yeah.
And a lady picked up the phone.
Yeah.
And when I told her what was happening, and she was like, you'd have to go to the station, to the nearest station, and report it in the morning.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, this lady is crazy. Like, I'm telling this lady that somebody just beat me up. I'm on the roadside. It's after midnight. I don't have anywhere to go. And she tell me to go to the station in the morning to report it. Like, who to tell if I'm going to live to see in the morning? So I repeated the situation to her because I'm like, I don't think she hear me well.
Right, right.
I repeated it and she told me the same exactly. So I told her, okay. And I said good night.
Yeah.
And I wanted to call a second time, but I think maybe she would have answered again. And I wouldn't get a different person. So I just never bothered. So I was there.
Yeah.
And a car pulled up a few minutes later. And this gentleman pulled his window down and, at first he'd asked me if I'm okay and stuff like that. I told him I'm there, I don't have anywhere to go and the whole works. And he said, I'm a police officer and the whole work. Now, he didn't show me an identification, but that's what he told me that he was.
Right.
And I mean, I needed somewhere to stay because I'm like, I could die here. Anything could happen.
Right.
Anything at all. And there was a madman further down. So, of course, I'm thinking anything. Like any possibility could go on right there. So he said he was a police. I'm trusting him. After a while, I said, okay, let me just go. And I went with him. When we got to the house, though, that was a red flag for me because I'm like, this don't look like a police. We're going through some zinc fence and a whole heap of things. I don't know where I was, to be honest with you. I don't know the place. But we're going through some zinc fence and the whole rest. The house was like way to the back and we had to go around.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, I think the police would have them tab and the back of them wall a zinc fence here and stuff like that. But anyways, we went in. We went to a board house. And I did not have a shower the night. I was still timid. I was extremely afraid. Not only the fact that I didn't totally believe that she was a police, but the fact that now we're in a zinc fence and we're in obviously a volatile community.
Yeah.
So I went to bed in my clothes and everything. I didn't have any other clothes, so there was no need to bathe and doing all of that.
You meet a stranger on the street who tells him a police. And where is he supposed to be taking you? Is he supposed to be taking you to the police station or somewhere to rest your head for the night? What was it?
He carried me to where he carried me to. I'm assuming that's his house. So really, if you think about it, he should have been bringing me to the police station. But I'm not thinking about that in the moment.
Yeah.
When you're in a situation, the truth is you're not thinking straight. You hear people say a lot of time, oh, if this happened, then this is what I'm going to do. But when this really happened, this is not necessarily what you do.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I really need to get off the streets. If you can get me off the street, fine. Right. I'm 6 months pregnant here, so I really want to get off the street.
Did you share with him that you were 6 months pregnant?
I don't remember if I'd said it to him.
Okay.
Don't remember if I'd said it to him. But when I got there and I went on the bed and everything, there was a point when I realized that he was pulling towards me.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of sent my antenna up, and I spoke to him about it. I'm like, no, you cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a gun. The gun was sitting right on top of the basket. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if this person's a gunman or whatever the case. When I told him that's a no, he kind of eased off. I don't know what happened next, but I woke up at the bus stop.
Wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
woke up at the bus stop. When I opened my eyes, it was morning. Vehicles were going up. You know how Dunrobin can be busy. I'm on the floor, on the roadside, at the bus stop, the exact bus stop where he picked me up. I don't know where he is. The last conversation I remember having was when I said no.
Yeah.
That was that.
Were you raped?
I'm assuming. I don't know what happened. To be honest with you, I don't know what happened. I don't sleep there. So I'm like, something had to happen.
Yeah. 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 So you don't remember what happened.
I don't sleep there. So
Yes.
me waking up at the bus stop was a whole lot of things going on there for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I went back to my child's dad house at that point because I knew where to find the house.
Yeah.
So I got up. It was
Yeah.
up Constant Spring Road, and I went.
Did he ask you where you was? Where you were, I should say, since he left you off there, did he ask you where you were, where you spent the night?
No, he didn't ask me that question.
Mm-hmm.
He was still in his feelings at the point. Still,
Wow.
yeah. When I got there, he was getting ready for work, and he went to work today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was home. That's where I've been since I would have stopped doing the job that I was doing.
Yeah. Where is Daddy now? And what's the relationship that Daddy has with his son?
If I tell you where Daddy is, I
Mm-hmm.
would tell a lie. I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
He has never seen him
Yeah.
since he was born.
Okay.
He has seen him on pictures, to be honest, because I sent him pictures when we were in the hospital room when I gave birth.
Yeah.
I sent him pictures because I had hopes that this person would still be around, at least for his child, because I don't need you to be around for me. I've
Right.
been through enough to know that at the end of the day, I'm still going to make it.
Right. Right.
So I'm thinking, a lot of times mothers, some mothers, not all of them, some of them would hold child from the dad, but I'm being like, okay, I'm not gonna hold this child hostage. Let me
Right.
let you see the child to see if you'll have a change of heart towards your child, because he left 2 weeks before the child was born. I found that out.
So you
And
didn't know he had left the country?
no, he even closed down his business, and I had no idea. Now, what happened after that? Yeah, so there was, to show you how, sorry, people keep calling me. Oh my God. To show you how he didn't know the child, there was a point. So my mom and my brother died in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
They both died at once. Well,
Yeah.
one after the other in the
Right.
same act.
Right.
And I had a picture of my brother up for the longest while because my brother was my best friend. And when my brother died, he was 7 years old.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
my best friend, like legit best friend, not just the word best friend. My
Yeah.
brother was my best friend. And I had a picture of him up. But
Right.
on the picture, he was probably about 5 or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And he took the picture down and he shared the picture on his Facebook, and he was saying, oh, his son is getting so big and stuff like
Oh
that.
Lord.
And you know, at one point I was gonna comment under it, and I say, I'm not gonna be that person. So I inboxed him. I still have all the messages. I inboxed him and I said to him, that's not your son.
Yeah.
And he texted me back and he said, then who is it? I said, that's my brother. So,
Wow.
I didn't know. I know what works. I know what works. In my head, I'm like, I didn't expect you to know. Because my brother and my son looks alike. But if you're in the child's life, you know that the child wouldn't be that big.
Right. Right. So,
Go ahead.
So life has, you've been able to move on because your son is what, 5 years old now or 7? How old is he now?
He's gonna be 5 in June.
He's gonna be 5 in June, and you've basically been on your own since then. But
Right.
you've not just been on your own; you've been successfully on your own. Been successful on your own, I should say, because you've since authored a book. Can you hold that book up for us so we can see that book?
It's this it.
A test turned testimony. That's beautiful. What made you write a book?
All right. So after my mom died, because everything that's in the book was something that I was writing all along. I was making notes because I was going through these things and I had nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
Especially when I got pregnant, there was nobody. It was like I was all alone because my family was disappointed in me. I was disappointed in me because I'm like, nice young girl like me, may I expect way better. I have sense. I've been through a lot already. This is not somewhere where I'm supposed to be. And so I was alone in the battles and I didn't have anybody to talk to. There were different occasions later in life where I would have had somebody to talk to, but I'm now afraid of what people would think of me and the fact that they might just tell other people about what I've been through, or they might pity me because I always have this thing that I really don't want anybody to pity me and feel sorry for me and them something there.
Yeah.
So this was on the laptop, and one day, out of nowhere, literally, because before that, I'd sent it to my friend. She's like a sister, for her to review it because I had the thought that I would make it into a book, but it wasn't at that point. But nothing happens before it's time. And one day out of nowhere, I just was in my email and I woke up in it, and it just turned into a book later. And about 2 months later, it turned into a book. At that point, I never felt any way about it because, okay, my mom died. So I was like, I think if she was alive, she'd have felt really terrible about me putting the book out.
Right.
So I know that, she's not here. And I didn't want to do anything to hurt her feelings or to make her feel worse at the point.
Right.
So she's not here, which means she can't feel anywhere at this point. So it became a book, and this is what it is.
And it's practically your memoir and all of it's what you've been through, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. What have you been up to now? Because you've been through a lot, and persons looking at you and listening to you, you sound like just this little girl, as if you're not even past 17. But you've been through an eternity of trials and trauma and struggles and challenges. And here you are now. What are you doing with yourself now?
All right. So up to Wednesday gone, I would have been in a job, which I now left. So Wednesday was my final day.
Yeah.
I'm still writing books for the most part. Wednesday was my final day because I live alone with my son. Yeah. And as a mother, and as a single mother at that, there are certain things that I know have to put into perspective. So when I looked at the fact that I had to get up 5 o'clock in the morning if I'm going to work early, and when I leave out 5 o'clock, I had to leave him outside until the sitter could come to pick him up at 7 o'clock. Or when I come back in the night, I have to walk to go and pick him up. And then sometimes he's already sleeping. We don't get time together or anything like that. It was only yesterday that I was learning. My neighbor said to me, we were having a conversation and it came up, and it was only yesterday that I learned this. She said that he said to her, because there was a day when I had left him in the house by himself,
Yeah.
So I had to go to work and I had nobody to keep in. And I'm like, you know, my job is on the line. If I don't have a day job, I can't take care of him.
Yeah.
And so I left him in the house. But my aunt came to pick him up and I didn't know.
Right.
And it was yesterday that she was saying to me that, one day he said to me that you don't have any time for him and you don't love him. And I felt so bad.
Yeah.
So currently I'm at the point to answer your question where I've left my job so that I can be available to him
Yeah.
in more ways than one because I am so absent. And the truth is, a job will forget you, a
Yeah.
job will replace you, but your child will never forget that
That's
you were
true.
absent.
That's true.
And he
True.
already has one parent absent. I mean, the least I could do is at least be present. So I'm on the journey to trying to start something for myself that could allow me the time at the same time to assist him. So just Friday, because I did go to Heart and I did commercial food preparation. So I'm a certified chef. So
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself that, I'm going to start a little restaurant because I love cooking. Now I'm thinking of all the expenses. I say, I don't have any money to rent or anything like that. So I started it right here in my home.
Yeah.
My coworkers, they supported. I had a church sister. She asked her coworkers to buy and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so Friday was the first of the restaurant. But the restaurant is only on Friday because everybody who I deliver to is in Kingston and I have to pay to charter a vehicle to go to Kingston. So I've decided that coming this week, I am going to, because I make natural juices and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I say I am going to put a table out my gate because I love to bake. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to bake some potato pudding and some nice things and some cookies. And I'm going to put up a sign outside,
Yeah.
put my table out there,
Yes.
and I'm going to sell them. Because I have to make ends meet. And I'm thinking I also want to be present for this young man. I
Yeah.
didn't have the protection and I didn't have the wholesomeness that I sought after as a child. um, there was something I was missing. And up to this day, there's still something I'm missing that I feel within myself, I truly deserved and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And as much as I can, he had a rough start because he started up and down like I did in my childhood. As much as I can,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to give him something as close to solidness as
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. Um, I thank you so much for sharing, Latisha. I'm sure, and I'm really praying as I listened to you a while ago, I'm really praying that this particular episode would have reached somebody in such a way that you will get a call for whether a job, something, but a turning point in your life and in the life of your son. So I'm believing God and I'm declaring it, I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere that this will be, this episode of Uniquely Me will be an inspiration specifically for you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to link you up because one of my sponsors, that's Earth Elements, I have a gift certificate from them. And so I'm going to be offering that gift certificate to you so you can get some stuff from Earth Elements. So I'm putting it out there that you are one of the recipients of a gift certificate from Earth Elements. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, I believe that God has something big for you, bigger than you, because we won't get a chance to go into all of that. But you did your book, you actually self published that book all on your own. And you've been able, and like you said to me, when it was published, it's published with all the different flaws and stuff. But you know what? It's a start. And you got it out there. You've been able to make those corrections. And girl, I am believing God that you
You
have
know
an.
what it was for me, even though the errors were there, it was the fact that I didn't want people to know my story because they could tell me, oh, you're strong. I
Yeah.
wanted people to know my story so they could realize that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of people who go through these things, and even now we see where or women or children, they're dying even after being abused. Some people never get back from it, and some people become prostitutes and everything after it.
Yeah.
Some people never recover. And I want it to be a strength for a sister. I wanted somebody to understand that, like, though these things are common among us, it doesn't have to hold you hostage. My life is not perfect right now, but it's really good. It's really soothing when I see my sisters reach out to me and they say, I've been through this. You've given me hope to push forward. You've given me hope to survive. And that makes me want to push a little bit harder, to know that somebody is banking on me to go through what I have to go through in order for them to live.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. I am so like I said, I'm so happy for that. Tell us where persons can find you, because I'm gonna have to wrap up, but I want persons to find you. You have a story, you're on a mission to help so many others. Where can they find you?
right. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Facebook, Latesha Parkes, she writes to inspire. Instagram, Latesha Parkes, she writes to inspire. God has blessed me immensely that one of my coworkers set up a website for me. So it's lateshaparkes.com. And yeah, you can find me there, or you can contact me at 423, 8999.
All right. Thank you so much. You've left an indelible mark on me, and like I said, I'm really hoping that this will be the turning point for a lot of stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure being here and sharing my story with your viewers. I hope somebody will be empowered and encouraged to survive despite whatever.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. Another unique woman sharing her story of resilience. And I'm not even going to call this one trauma, because she has overcome and she has pushed through and she is making it happen. Guys, as much as you can, reach out to Latesha. I don't know, I just feel like something really big is going to come out of this. So go check her out on Amazon. You're on Amazon, right? Are you?
Yes, the book is on Amazon. It's also at the book and stationery place in Portmore as well. And yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram.
All right. So guys, go check her out. And when you go, make sure you tell her that Simone sent you, right? Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in week after week. Thank you for your support. You are the reason why I keep coming, because Uniquely Me is definitely uniquely you. So thank you. See you next week with another outstanding story. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to Uniquely Me with Simone Stewart. Remember, Uniquely Me is uniquely you.